Hi everyone, this is Julianne Victoria of Through the Peacock's Eyes, and welcome to my first deck review video for my deck tour series on my YouTube channel. I counted my decks, and I have, as of now, 68 tarot decks, tarot and oracle card decks, and I think 24 of them are oracle card decks. So there'll be quite a few videos in this series, and I'll probably over time be getting more decks as well, so the series may continue on indefinitely. The reason I have so many decks is that they've become a collection of artwork for me. I love different artists' interpretations of the symbols and the archetypal energies. I love comparing decks. Each deck has a different feel, and it also challenges me. So trying to pick up the intuitive messages through different artists' interpretation of the symbolism of the cards. So it's fun in multiple ways for me to have different decks. I don't use all the decks for private readings or for YouTube readings. Some are just too big, some are just too small. Some, the artwork is so beautiful and intricate, it doesn't come up well on camera or through Skype FaceTime readings. So yeah, many of them I've just used for myself, enjoyed the artwork, enjoyed the challenge of reading the cards. Okay, so for this video, I thought I'd start with the basics and start with the Rider-Waite deck, which is I have here. The back isn't always like that. I think it depends on what country you buy the cards in. This is the Wheel of Fortune card in it. Very traditional symbolism, very traditional interpretations of the archetypal energies of the collective language, you could say. It is strongly based on European mythologies, so Egyptian, Greek, Roman, predominantly. And many of you are probably familiar with this deck. It's very commonly used. Okay. The size of this deck, this is the traditional tarot card size, so it's about the size of my hand. So it's easy to shuffle, and I'll show shuffling in these reviews as well. But I also want to mention before I get to that I also have the Radiant Rider-Waite deck, which is just a brighter colored version. Now this one that I have came in a tin. I think it's called a travel size. The travel ones come in tins. So it's a smaller deck. So to compare the sizes here, this is the Radiant, and this is the sort of normal average tarot deck size. Okay. Now I do like the smallness of the Radiant Rider-Waite deck when I shuffle like this. It just nestles nicely in my hands, but everyone's hand sizes are different, but that's just for me. But I'm so used to shuffling the regular size, the sort of traditional tarot deck size. Okay. Now more for comparison, I'll do the shuffling after, to show you the regular Rider-Waite versus the Radiant. So you can see how the colors are enhanced, they're deepened, brightened up in the Radiant Rider-Waite deck, so that's the Ten of Wands comparison. And then I have the Queen of Pentacles here to compare. They don't look too different on camera, at least to me. But the Radiant is a little brighter. And then the Ten of Cups. So you can see how the colors are different. And I actually like the enhanced colors of the Radiant Rider-Waite as well. Now I don't use the traditional Rider-Waite very often anymore. I mean, this is a really old deck. The edges are all darkened and some have little dents in them. But I do love to have it around. If I go for a Rider-Waite deck, I tend to go for the little Radiant one, just because I like the bright colors and I love the fun little size of it. Okay, now shuffling. So there's this shuffle, but I always do a deeper shuffle before I start any reading, whether it's a YouTube video or a client reading. That's sort of how I get into that meditative state to intuitively pick up on the messages coming in. It grounds me, actually. So I'm going to show you Let's see if this will work. How the cards shuffle. So this is the regular size Rider-Waite. So this is my deep shuffle. I will do this as long as I need to till I feel the cards are ready for the reading I'm doing, whether it's a YouTube video or for a client. So this is how they shuffle. Now this is an older deck, so it's not shuffling quite as smoothly as it normally would. But some decks shuffle smooth, some are clumpy, depends on the thickness. I would say this deck is an average thickness of paperweight. Okay, so that's the traditional Rider-Waite, the regular one, and this is the shuffling the radiant one. Now this is a newer deck, so it's a little slicker. I have found that smaller decks can be a little stiffer in the bend, and that's if you shuffle this way. But for me, it is a little bit significant. The feel of the shuffle is important. So a little stiffer. Okay, so that's the shuffle of the cards. But I will say that the Radiant Rider-Waite I often use for just my one card quickie readings that I offer, because then I can do that quick shuffle. But then if it's a one card, I'll shuffle like this for quite a long time. Where normally this is sort of the end part or the last shuffle before doing the reading for my YouTube videos. Okay, so those are my two Rider-Waite decks. Again, they're great decks to start out with because they have the traditional symbolism, the symbolic language. And I think many decks come in many sizes. I've seen the Rider-Waite in the monster size. That's what I call it. So we have this. I think it's like twice the size. I've seen that around. But those can be really hard to shuffle. So I don't consciously choose decks that are super large. Although I have gotten some that I just didn't know they were going to come out so big. But yeah, so those are the two Rider-Waite. One's not really better than the other. But if you like smaller decks, better handling, go with the Radiant or the travel size. Some decks come even smaller. I do have a mini deck that I'll show in some other review video. But again, for learning symbolism, if you want a deck to start out with to get the basics of the symbolic language, the Rider-Waite, show some more. The Rider-Waite is a good starter deck. But again, you know, go with what you're drawn to. If you're drawn to totally different artwork, something like modern cubism tarot deck or something like that, go for it. But it is a good, I call it a good study deck. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this first deck review video. I'll try to post about one per week, just depending on how busy I am and my schedule and everything. But yeah, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to get notifications of when the next ones are up. Otherwise, thanks for stopping by and have a great day.